Good. So the idea is that this event is being recorded. If you're pitching and for some reason you're not happy with your pitch, send us an email later to cut your part off. So there is no problem, but we want to make sure that we send this to the people in the newsletter and also publish you as well, because it's a good first try. This event is happening, and again, if you're not interested, just send us after your pitch that you don't want to be there and we'll cut you off. This event is happening twice every Wednesday, so consider pitching the next time. Could be very interesting for you and a good experiment. Let's have a quick look on other things. The goal is to help you to improve your pitch. And over here you have a collective brain that is at your service to basically give you tips and recommendations on how to do it better, some things in the business model that might not make sense, and so on and so on. It's really a unique opportunity to get feedback. We had someone here last week that was pitching from San Francisco and said that in a week in San Francisco, they have not received as much feedback pitching to other people than in the 4 minutes that they did here, and then later the QA. This is actually a special request for everyone who is here listening. It doesn't matter if you're a founder or not, share your feedback. Your feedback is extremely valuable to the people that are pitching. So please share it. This is really, really important because that's what they're here for, and that's why they're pitching. There is a 4 minutes limit with a timer. Less is more. So the idea is that this is an elevator pitch to a specific target. It could be to get clients, get investors. But the goal is not to give all the information. The goal is to give just enough to get people to be intrigued. We will feature one of you on our newsletter and social media. This newsletter is going out to actually 80,000 people now, and the social media is also with many followers. So it's a nice opportunity if one of you is very ready to get a little bit of traction. After the pitch, we're going to do again, we're just going to go over the chat. I'm going to try to give you a few of my feedback based on a lot of let's say a lot of pitching events that we've done. So the feedback kind of repeats. So when you see the same, let's say, mistakes and so on, you can kind of comment. But more than anything, we're going to count on people in the chat to help the people that are pitching. A little bit about myself. I'm Eli David. I'm the CEO of Startup Blink. It's a global startup ecosystem map at startuplink.com. And I'm currently in Zagreb in Croatia. So if anyone is here and wants to get coffee, let me know. Let me have a quick look on the order of the people that are pitching today. So we're starting with Akash from Oneness. After Akash, we're gonna go to George Ladner that will be pitching Tether pitch, TetherTap. Okay, so George is gonna be second. And yeah, that's basically it. Razvan, I don't understand actually if you want to pitch today or not. So let me know, because I saw your post on the Q&A. So just let me know. So currently we're with Akash and with George. Let's see if we have other comments in the chat or something that is interesting. Razvan, you are pitching. Super. So good. You're going for it, and I see Newdav is also wants to pitch. I'm hoping we're going to have enough time because we already have 3 people pitching. Newdav, if you can please send me a Q&A so I can have it in the order, because if I don't, I can't see it. So again, the order is going to be as following. We're going to go with Akash, then George, then Razvan. And if we have time, we go with Newdav as well. And Newdav, please, again, send me in the Q&A because I didn't see your post there. And that's pretty much it. Akash, I'm going to give you 1 to prepare for the pitch, so get ready. And before Akash is starting, I'm just going to share a few links with you in the chat. And now I'm going to go over quickly and tell you what is each of those links. So the first link that I shared over here that you can see in the chat is the link to our website, startuplink.com, Global Startup Ecosystem Map, free to join. If you join, you're gonna, as a startup, co-working space, accelerator, whatever you have, you're going to influence the ranking of your city and country. We publish a ranking of startup ecosystem of more than 1,000 cities and 100 countries. Why is it important to you as ecosystem founders? One of the critical mistakes that you can do is being in the wrong startup ecosystem. So what we built for you, and all of this is for free, is basically tables that will show you how your city and country is ranking. And this will make you really think about relocating if necessary. So check it out at startuplink.com. You can register at the top of the map. And if you scroll below the map, you're going to see the ranking. The second link that I shared with you is a link to our Telegram channel, t.me/workjams. We just have a great chat there and keep in touch after those events. So feel free to join us. We're doing weekend events in Starbucks of networking in more than 50 countries, 50 cities currently. So if you don't have plans for the weekend and you want to meet fellow entrepreneurs, this is the link, Global Startup Ecosystem Meetup Groups, to see if your city has one. It's very likely that it does. Other than that, we have a special program for startup ecosystem city partners. Those are specific organizations and startups that care a lot about their startup ecosystem. And again, all the details are there and all the benefits are there. So we're talking about massive exposure and traction as a city partner. And last but not least, our partner from Bluehost is sponsoring this event. This is an affiliate link that if you use it to purchase a hosting service, you get a discount and you also support this event. And many of you are starting now. So hosting a service for a website is super important. And that's it. We're moving on to Akash. Akash, you're going to be the first one presenting, and I'm going to promote you as a panelist. Let's hope for good internet. So let's see if it works. Okay, Akash, so you have an unmute button at the left corner of the screen. Super. So we can...
Yeah, I have unmuted.
We can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, and you can see a frozen photo of you. So, now you moved, so we know that you're there. Okay, so that's great. So Akash, you can take it away. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from India, Mumbai.
Excellent, great. I have a feeling that your internet is a little bit slow. So what I recommend to you to do is to stop the video. And that could be helpful at some point. Do you have a presentation that you want to share with us?
Yeah.
Okay, so there is a green button on sharing, and I'll, in case I see that your internet is super slow, I'm gonna let you know and stop you. Excellent. So great. So Akash, live from Mumbai. Good luck. Go for it.
Akash Jadhav, founder Oneness. Okay, I'm speaking from Mumbai, India. So, okay. So basically, so first I would like to introduce my product to you. Okay, so Oneness is a product which is like it's a B2B product. Okay, I build it for businesses. So the origin of Oneness, I would like to tell you from where this Oneness came from. It came from all the problems or the need of an organization to maintain, to sustain, and to work efficiently at our workplace. So from these collectively, all these problems got together, and the Oneness product has been, you know, designed. So many people's like I got many people review on this, like for I got some suggestions from CEOs, from the architect head, from team leads, from developers, from testers, and collectively gathering all the information, gathering all their thoughts, I've created this product. So I'll move on to the presentation, the next slide. Okay, so what will you take away from this presentation? So it will be like about the product, what is the need, about the features, what features we are offering in our product, and how we are different from all of them. Okay, we have also got some extraordinary features. Okay, let me make this clear, not advanced. Okay, these are extraordinary features which we have included in our product, and that makes it very, very special. Okay, how oneness can change the way people work and its benefits. So about the product, why oneness? So as I've discussed earlier, is a product built to accelerate the business production and productivity. Okay, it is basically designed to resolve all the problems which an organization face, not all the problem, most of them. Okay, which leads to improvement of its employees, which leads to its growth, its revenue income, its work efficiency, all the things, okay, which is necessary to a business owner to take his business to a next level. What is oneness? Like, in short, it is like employee management tool plus product management tool plus team connectivity tool. Like, I have included all these three functionalities in one single product. It is oneness. The outcome you can say is oneness. Okay, so I would like to inform you all that oneness is a concept which is in development for now. Okay, and I have its plan of version 1 in January 2020, and this is the link to the product, https slash oneness.org.in. You can visit it and you can get the complete details over there. Our target audience for oneness product will be like any organization, like mostly IT's one. Okay, those one who want to manage their workflow or work process. Okay, so what is the need for oneness? Okay, so if you could answer, if you all could answer this, all the questions which you are looking at screen, then this is for you. The product is for you. Do you summarize the organization? That's it. Suppose you are business owner, you are going somewhere. You want to show that yes, I have an organization, I have so many working, I have so many projects to be going on in my organization. This is its progress and doing very great. So that whole thing you get in oneness. Okay, you get a dashboard, you get your project progress report, you get your employees report, you get all the functionalities over there. Okay, do you want your skill? See, this is the core from where the oneness came. So let me tell you one story about it. One of my colleague. Okay, so one of my
I
colleague
just
was
want to tell you that you have exactly 1 minute, so make the best out of it. Okay. Akash, can you hear me? Hello. We lost you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I
good,
can
good.
hear you.
Akash, you have 1 minute, so make the best
Yeah.
out of it because you already spent 3 minutes on this, so you have 1 more minute. Make it count.
Sure. So guys, the product is about getting an organization's its employees work together. That's why the name oneness. You can see all the features and you can look all its functionalities over the website oneness.org.in. You can visit there and you can look at the features. You can see some of those over here. Okay, and I just want to say that it will just boost the efficiency of your employees. It will boost the production of your organization, and it will
Akash, can you hear me? I lost you for a second. Can't hear you.
Yeah. From till where you heard, like
that it will boost the productivity of your organization.
It will boost the productivity of all your organization. It will make all the people to come together and work as one. So this is the main and core idea of oneness. You can visit the site. You can give me feedback over there, and it's awesome product. You just go and have a look at it once. Thank you.
Excellent, Akash. Can you share the link with us in the chat so people may visit it? That's great. Good. And Akash, one question before we turn to our friends in the chat. Who are you currently pitching to? Is it for, are you trying to get investors? Are you trying to persuade people to register and see the launch of oneness? What's the main target of the pitch?
Okay, so the main target of the pitch is to get the clients, to make organization use this product, okay, and to like they'll boost their efficiency, they'll uh, work with it and will like work as one. So I'm trying to get some clients and to get my product in market and to sell it.
Good, very good. So good, great. So Akash, send it to the chat, and now we're turning to our collective brain here. So basically, Akash is trying to persuade everyone to use one, to register to OneS, to be intrigued by OneS, to say, okay, OneS can actually make a difference in the productivity of my business, and so on and so on. He had 4 minutes. Now, we wanted to ask you, turning to the chat, what did you think? What was, let's say if Akash is trying to convince people to use the product and so on, and he's going to lectures and the networking events and so on, what should he improve in his elevator pitch to make it better than if he can do something? So I'm kind of wondering if you have any feedback about the pitch, and we'll have a look at the chat soon. So any feedback that you can give Akash is going now to a series of many pitching either events or networking or persuading people and so on. What did you think about his message? What would you make better to persuade people to join? So let's have a quick look. So Da Vinci is asking, can he download OneS? So Akash, it wasn't that clear if OneS is currently let's say online or not. So maybe to stress a little bit better about what's the current status, that would be good. Ramon is asking about, and we're just giving you feedback now, no need to answer because we don't have time. But Ramon is asking, do you have a finished product? So just like Da Vinci, we have a problem here of people not understanding what is the current stage of the product, what exactly are they registering into. So that's kind of like something to take into account. Razvan is recommending something, Akash, that I totally recommend as well. Razvan is saying that you need to explain what your product is exactly much faster. We only understood after 2 minutes. So basically, Akash, you gave a very long introduction about B2B product and something that has a lot of features and whatever, and not necessarily the people that will listen to you, especially if you catch them on an elevator pitch, will have time. So you kind of want to, I think you could have made it, and also Rajvan is thinking that you could have made it much faster to get to the point, you know, to OneS, this is what OneS does, that's what's special about it and so on, and cut a lot of, let's say, unnecessary things. And again, this is exactly what we're practicing on over here. Achil is recommending you to do market research and competitive benchmarking in your deck, and that was missing. So you had 4 minutes, and maybe it would have been better in the 4 minutes instead of the introduction and so on, to kind of say, look, those are the, according to Achil, I'm only sharing his view, to kind of say, instead of the introduction, to kind of say, look, that's currently what's happening in the productivity market. That's what's happening with other applications and so on and so on. And this is the differentiation between them and OneS, to be a little bit more clear about what's currently going on in this thing. So OneS is going to be launched, according to Akash, in, I see answer here, in the 1st of January 2020. Yeah, and Razvan again is talking a little bit about those a little bit wasted time in the beginning, that you kind of kept it a little bit vague. So probably to be in a situation that you are more focused on that. Ayush is saying that it was not clear to them if OneS is a software or a type of a platform. So all of those basically, Akash, are tips for your next presentation to kind of make sure that people understand what is OneS, what is the current status, and what's going to look like as an application, software, and so on and so on. George is saying that he didn't get the basic understanding for OneS. So you have a problem here, Akash. The problem is that basically, I totally understand it. You haven't launched OneS yet, so it's a little bit abstract. But try to give people more understanding about what exactly is going on. For example, a screenshot from OneS. You're probably developing it now. You probably have some amazing screenshot of how you make the flow of the productivity work. So if you can share some things, because people like George actually say they didn't really understand what is going on there in a way. Kash, I'm going to just share your messages because you're sharing with the panelists. So it means that you're only sharing with me. So just a second, I'm going to share your email here to anyone that wants to speak with, to anyone that wants to, and also, Akash, I'm going to share your link to the Oneness over here. So I shared it now because you sent it only to me. Let's see if we have any other important things. And Akash, by the way, we will not have time to go over all the feedback. You got a lot of high quality feedback here. Try to copy paste from the chat, copy paste the entire chat and so on. Yeah, Alon is saying that you had a little bit of bad connection. It's very hard to kind of do a presentation with bad connection. So, so that was part maybe of a little bit of not understanding very clearly. But again, you could have solved it with a few interesting screenshots of the awesome product that you're building. Alon is saying again, there is a problem to understand. How is it better than the competitors? Good. So Ophir is saying that maybe it would have been better to kind of explain how much money would the system save the company and so on. It's kind of metrics to make it so much better for people to kind of have a feeling that they have to use this thing. And you have a lot of other feedback as well. So because we don't have time and we have to jump to the next presentation, Akash, I recommend copy pasting and copy paste the entire feedback. And I have a feeling that if you implement all the feedback that you got, your second presentation is going to be much more focused and better. You have really good good feedback here in the chat, so totally recommended. And we would love to have you in a few months. Again, you can come back in 4 or 5 months with better internet, and we'd love to see the second iteration of the presentation. We actually had someone last week that also from India that did their second presentation after doing one 4 months ago, and it was so much better with all the feedback that they got. So Akash, thanks a lot and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So great. So we're moving on to the second. The second thing would be the second presentation would be over here from George. So George, I'm promoting you to a panelist. So just a second. Let me see if I can locate you in the QA. Just a minute. Yes, I can. Super. Excellent, George. So you can unmute yourself. Once again, Akash, congratulations on the bravery to pitch. That's super awesome. George, you have an unmute button at the left side of your screen and the video button as well. So let's try to see if they both work.
Okay, the unmute's working, the video is not.
The video is not working. That's okay. Where are you calling from? Ah, now it works.
Oh, here we go. It's fine now.
That's great. Okay. From North Carolina or?
Yes.
Super, that's great. So we had India, now we move on to the USA. George, I see that your presentation is already set up.
Okay. 1 second.
So good luck.
Give me 1 second, please.
Take your time.
Okay, do you see this? Okay. Hi, I'm George Ladner and partner with Bill Whitescarver and Rob Eels. We formed FFL Communications to help you stay connected to people you value, friends and family and or business contacts you have spent time and effort building. So far, I've moved 18 times, and after each move, I forgot or neglected to update most of my contacts about changes. 60 to 70% of my contacts are now broken. A few people may find me on social media, but most will not. Now multiply my experience by the more than 36 million people who move every year in the United States. To keep track of my friends and family and business associates, I used an address book like the one pictured on the left. When I learned that someone moved, I updated my address book, and as you can see, it got pretty messy and was mostly wrong. The digital smartphone address book, or the one in Outlook or Gmail, was supposed to be the fix, but it's not working very well. Address book maintenance is painful. Maintaining and updating an address book requires diligent manual effort, so it's mostly neglected over time, rendering the address book almost unreliable or very unreliable. Without constant updating, our contact information is decaying at the rate of 10% for personal contacts and almost 22% for business contacts every year. TetherTap, the app that we have built, enables you to automatically share contact information with people in your smartphone address book, and correspondingly accepts data from those contacts to update your address book in a peer-to-peer exchange. The founders drive innovation, have practical operational experience, and marketing expertise, and they form a dynamic, creative, and highly productive team. Bill Waitscarver's business acumen spans from blue collar to middle to senior management and to entrepreneurship, including startups in broadband infrastructure and cybersecurity. Bill is a student of human behavior and a master of problem solving. I was CEO of an international marketing company for 15 years, growing the firm from startup to 30 million prior to selling the venture. I'm basically hardwired to achieve in every endeavor I value. Rob Eels, Dr. Rob Eels, purchased a medical practice in 1998 and sold it in 2014 for 3x. Rob's curiosity permits him to take on challenges most would cast off. 18 address book management apps were researched. 11 are still active. The market is fragmented with no clear winner or leader. Competition, though, is a double-edged sword. It validates the problem, but at the same time, demands a superior solution. Our primary focus is building a very large network, millions of customers, by removing all barriers to usage and providing exceptional value. TetherTap's growth is based upon well-defined and measured building blocks. As an add-on to Apple and Android platforms, TetherTap integrates with legacy systems that have been critical to digital communications for over 3 decades. This means that the internet's current 3.1 billion email and mobile users will be able to access TetherTap functionality through systems they already use. FFL cash flow will be cash flow positive by year 3 and expects a 20x return on an investment. That's the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, George, for the courage to present. Always appreciated. Great. And let me ask you, George, what would be the main goal of the presentation? If you're pitching now, are you pitching for people to use FFL? Are you pitching for investors? What do you anticipate that your major?
We're pitching to 2 groups. We're pitching to people who would partner with us so that we can integrate TetherTap in with products that they already market. And the second group is to investors. Excellent.
That's great. So, and one more thing, George, if you would like to ask a question to the crowd, do you have a specific question that I can launch a poll for you? For example, was it clear? Do they think that the pain really exists and so on? Do you want to share with them something so I can launch a quick something that would help you? Yeah.
The question is, do they really think the pain exists?
Okay, so people, we're going to try helping George, and I'm going to launch a poll with you about the pain existing. So I'll do this in a second. The most important thing actually to know if the pain exists is also to kind of figure out if the presentation was clear. But I think that it was relatively okay. So let's have a quick look. I'm going to try to ask a question about the pain in the poll. So just a minute. Second, gonna go to the poll and edit, and great. I'm sharing it with you now. So people in the chat, please help George understand. He has a little bit of a concern here that there is a problem with the pain. Is there really a pain that requires a solution here? So anyone that can give an advice based on the presentation, is there really something here that makes sense? Let's help with the collective brain to George, and then after you give your advice over here, what we would like to do, George, again, it was investors and people using the platform, right? Those are the two target groups?
Yes.
So George is basically going to go to a lot of pitches to investors. He's also going to go to people that will help him, that will either decide to join the platform, use it or not, use the service or not. So now we kind of need your feedback in the chat about what can George do better in the presentation. So George, you have a very nice poll here of basically 25 people that participated. So thank you for the 25 people that participated. So what we have here on a clear yes is 24%. You have a very, very big majority here of people saying maybe. Maybe I shouldn't have put the category of maybe, but it's good because it kind of shows you that people kind of understand, but at the same time, they're saying, you know what, I'm not really convinced. So there might be something here, but it's not clear if it's a big something or if it's a clear something, and you have just the same amount of people who say yes, the exact same amount of people, 24% saying that no, there is no pain here. So I think those are encouraging results. Basically, the bottom line over here is kind of, if you can kind of present it better, if there is a way to present it better, then you have a very big chunk of maybe that will probably switch to yes. The question is, how do you convince them? Something was missing here. So pretty interesting. So thanks everyone for the help.
Very helpful.
Yeah. Great, and let's switch to everyone in the chat. So let's give again George a little bit of feedback. He's gonna go to investors. The investors are tough. How can he make a better pitch? And he's also gonna try to convince people to join the platform. What can he do? So let's have a quick look on a little bit of the comments. So I'm gonna try to scroll to the beginning over here. Yes. Let me see. So starting with Razvan, he's saying that he thinks that you should spend more time on the presentation on discussing what the product does, like the actual functionality, what's happening when I'm using it, more concrete use cases. This would actually probably convince the maybes to either say yes or no. So you would have a clear division in a way. And Razvan is saying that it's a little bit vague, like it's not really clear here what's going on. Achil is saying something that you're probably gonna hear a lot, and Achil is basically saying WhatsApp and Facebook have a single unified ID that doesn't change with location. So that's a little bit of an issue. And Achil is asking a little bit about the demographics and about the age. Did you identify some kind of a group that would use this would use it more than others? We don't have time to answer it, but it might be a good lead for your next speech to kind of say it's not for everyone. It's either for very young people or the older people and so on. It might be even better accepted if you don't say it's for everyone. Everyone has this pain. You kind of identify and say, you know what, only the older segment or the population or the younger one actually have this pain. So people would say, okay, maybe I'm not one of this group, but I can understand why does it actually exist. And Achil is actually thinking that under 35 would probably not be interested because there's so much into the digital world that addresses for them would be a little bit of something. But then again, the market is even bigger on above 35. So maybe this is something you want to tell the investors of basically, hey, I know my crowd, and from a certain age group, it's becoming very, very important. Yeah, and you have one question from Vitli. Vitli is from Toronto. Is asking, he wanted to see more the UI, the user interface of your address book. That was a little bit missing. So something to think about. Da Vinci is saying that they feel actually that you're actually targeting a future problem, because people are going to move a lot more than now. People are becoming a little bit nomadic with remote work and stuff like that. So this could be also a part of the presentation of kind of telling people, look, I'm preparing you for the future. In the future, nobody's going to stay in the same location. Pretty interesting. Okay, let's see. So George, you have a lot of feedback here that we're not going to have time to go over. So again, just like in the case of Akash, I would recommend to copy paste everything that you see here. Definitely a good recommendation. Yeah, Noma is saying that for investors, it would have been better to maybe focus a little bit about the target market. And again, it's probably not everyone. So you kind of want to niche it down a little bit. Alon is recommending you to put the company logo and the name in the header of each page. So people can kind of remember, okay, what is the company? Remind me again. And Alon is asking a few technicalities of, do you update phone numbers or only the mail, and so on and so on. So it's pretty interesting technical questions. You can copy paste later and kind of have a look. Priyank is asking for you to share the web page. So if you have something and you can share with the chat with us, something for people to check right now, feel free to share it in the chat. Ophir is from maybe the younger generation asking, why would you need an address in a world that everything is going digital? Your email is most likely not to change. This is something that Achil also mentioned, the unique ID that is actually not changing regardless of where you go to. So you're going to have a little bit of resistance specifically on that. So you probably want to prepare for this. You have good feedback from Gavin that said that this is a good presentation. And Gavin is asking maybe something to clarify. Again, we don't have the time to go over it now, but if they sign up, but their contacts are not signing up, then apparently the chain is broken. So so it's either nobody or everybody in a way. So you probably have a good solution for that. I would just mention it in the next time you do a presentation. And Ophir is saying that this was a great presentation. So all in all, George, good presentation. Needs some optimizing, and you should be okay for the next time. So great work.
Thank you.
Excellent. So thanks, George. Good. So we're moving on to wow, we're short on time. Razvan. Who thought that everyone here is from Ireland, but surprisingly not. Razvan, we're going to promote you to pitch. So just a second. Okay, Razvan, you have an unmute button at the bottom left of the screen, and also a camera button there.
Hi, hello.
Okay, where are you calling from?
Hi, yeah, I'm Răzvan Flavius Panda. I'm genetically from Romania. I moved to Ireland in 2013, and since then I've been working here and living here.
Excellent, that's great. So good, split between genetically and physically, so that's always good. You have a presentation you want to share with us?
Yes, I do.
Excellent. So there is a share button, a green share button.
Oh, you're not seeing. Share entire screen. Are you seeing my screen now?
We can see your screen. So great. Good luck. 4 minutes. Go for it.
Okay. Starting now. So my name is Răzvan Flavius Panda. I am a Haskell engineer and a founder at Veritail Artificial General Intelligence Solutions. We work on free and commercial open source projects. I have been a C# engineer since 2011, and I've been working with Haskell since 2013. Our solution is a social network. So the problem with existing social networks is that many of them have nagging notifications that cannot be disabled. User interfaces are rarely customizable with layouts or themes. A lot of them force the users to view the posts in the order they decide. Almost all of them limit the ways you can react to posts or comments. They do not listen enough to feedback from the user or act too late. And all of the popular social networks are not open source, which would solve most of the problems mentioned above. Our solution, introducing the new social network, Everyone Connect, with the slogan, Your World Connected. Features of Everyone Connect. The user interface for each user will be customizable. Open source UI marketplace to which anyone can contribute user interfaces. The users will have the choice to view the posts in whichever order they desire, by post time, by post title, etc. The users will have the choice to filter the post with advanced filters. Any notification type can be enabled or disabled, no nagging notifications. The performance of the social network will be very good, and you will be able to react to posts or comments using all available emojis, cow emojis, etc. We'll truly listen to the user feedback and implement the changes fast. Everyone Connect is open source. Everyone Connect is open source so that anyone can contribute to it, either for free or they can be paid per issue implemented. Being open source will allow the social network to iterate much faster on new features and on fixing any bugs. The managing of desired features and bugs will also be done in the open on GitHub. Because there are more people looking at the code, the reliability and quality of the code base will be superior to any closed source variant. Everyone Connect will be more than just a social network. It will have a lot of useful modules. A dating module, business networking module, question and answers, marketplace, ratings and reviews for businesses, ratings and reviews for products, etc. You can imagine. Example module, the dating module. The user clicks in the interface to enable the dating module. The user will choose which data he wants to use for the dating profile that is also part of his normal social network profile. And the user will add new dating specific information for his profile, pictures, description, hobbies, etc. Everything is optional, but the more details you give, the higher chance you will meet the right person. Searching for matches will have an exhaustive list of filters. Everyone Connect is built using Haskell programming language, which is a very high-level programming language which prevents a huge amount of bugs before the program is even run. It has a thriving community of very helpful people, lots of libraries for almost any task we would need for implementing a social network, and it's excellent at running things in parallel, which would allow us to have very good performance for the social network. This is the team currently working on the project, mainly 2 Haskell engineers and a technical advisor. Funding. We'll be focusing on crowdsourcing for now and later on angel investors and venture capital investors. Funding Everyone Connect current plan. Obtain funds using crowdfunding like Kickstarter, Indiegogo, Patreon, and use the funds obtained through crowdfunding to work on Everyone Connect issues or tickets by paying people to actually work on the tickets in addition to the core team. Everyone Connect will be the funding bootstrapper for Fairytale AGI higher level goals. Hire a distributed team of AGI researchers that will work on ensuring safe AGI creation, AGI beneficial to humanity and not just to minority. The team would collaborate with other teams working on safe AGI also, OpenAI, DeepMind, etc. If humanity manages to create safe AGI, it will usher in a new age of prosperity. The AGI will be much more efficient than us at curing diseases, providing housing, food, etc. Thank you.
Wow, this timer is great. You actually exactly nailed it in four minutes. That was freaking impressive. Good, good. Not even 1 second more. I saw it was like totally synced. Beautiful. So thanks, Rajan. Good. I'll ask you the same question I asked George. If there is something that you want to ask the crowd, I might be able to set up a quick poll. Like, for example, was it clear? Is there a real pain? Is there anything that you want me to ask the people in the poll? Any specific question that bothers you, or?
Sorry, what's the question?
I'm saying if you want me to ask the people in the chat if a poll question about
poll question.
Is it clear, the pain, whatever you're wondering about?
I think a good poll question would be, do you think this project will be a success or not?
Oh, interesting. Okay, so let's do. I actually think that in order to answer that, it's probably good to start the same poll about the pain, because I have a feeling that if people know about people think that it actually has a big pain behind it, then you have a good chance of making it a success.
Yeah,
so
correct.
let's do the pain thing. So I'm resharing it with everyone. So again, the question over here is kind of like, do you think it's going to be a success? Is there enough pain here? Or are you kind of like, what do you think? Like, so from your own intuition. So I shared it with the people in the chat, and we're going to see the results relatively soon. So Rajvan, if I understand correctly, you're trying to get investors currently. That's going to be your main thing because you're building a very big social network. Am I correct?
I think I will mainly focus on crowdfunding, and depending on how it works with crowdfunding and using the money from crowdfunding to actually pay people to work on tickets in addition to the core team. I think we might just go with crowdfunding and investors later. There are some risks with investors, like the shares and stuff like that, and the fact that we have a say in the company. So I kind of want the company to be driven by the consumers and not the investors, because that's kind of the goal of a company, like to meet the goals of the consumers. So if you get investors, they will have a say, and like they may say like, we want to double the number of ads. Well, I say no, but if they have more than votes than me, they would go yes. So you know, I would rather have, yeah, I would
sounds
avoid.
good. So yeah, so what if I understand correctly, Razvan is trying to currently go for a crowdfunding campaign, and he's trying to convince people to give money for either future access or to support this project and so on and so on. Let's understand from people in the chat, what do you think about specifically what can he do better in the presentation? Would you change something in the style of the presentation? Would you change anything in the messaging? Some problems that you see in the presentation, so Razvan can actually improve the presentation, and more than anything, the messaging that he's going to share with everyone in the crowdfunding campaign. Razvan is just going to share the results of the poll. So we see a little bit of kind of resembles a little bit what George had. So you have very, very few people that kind of say, look, this is definitely go for it. You have more than half of the people, 52% of the people that say that they see a little bit of a maybe. It maybe is necessary, it maybe isn't necessary. According to your pitch, they couldn't decide. And you have 33% of the people that say, actually, no, there is nothing here, kind of, according to what they understand. So something to think about. So hopefully this is helpful. And Rajan, that usually indicates that maybe there is a little bit of need of optimizing the presentation or making it a little bit better. Great. So let's move to the chat. And basically what we're looking for more than anything is the is feedback. Again, the style of the presentation. What would you change? Anything that can help Rajvan when he's doing his next pitching for getting money from you, from people in Kickstarter, in Indiegogo, and so on, not from professional investors. What could he do to convince you better? So let's have a quick look at the chat. Just a second. So I'm trying to see where the comments are starting. Minute, scrolling up. And again, Rajvan, one good thing would be to copy paste the all the comments that you've got here, because they're relevant, probably going to be relevant. Achid is saying that he loves the idea of the open social network and great slide layout. It started with a problem, and now you're looking to solve it. So you have good feedback, basically, on a little bit on the way you structured it. Oma is kind of saying that she or he has concern on with this being open source, how secure is the data? And this is something that you might want to cover in the next presentation, for example.
Yeah, I will add that.
Thomas is saying that he's basically saying, I thought we don't need another social network, but the idea is really good, better than every other network. So what you got here is good feedback. And basically, Razvan, maybe you should play on that. Basically, there is now a lot of current social networks. So if you introduce yourself as the new kid in the block, you know, and kind of like doing something that is totally different, going contra logic of what they're doing, you will get a lot more probably attention. You did a little bit of it, but maybe intensify it a little bit more, because the social networking, social media is currently a little bit broken with the trust of the public and so on and so on. So you can do in the style of what DuckDuckGo did with Google. They kind of said, look, we care about your privacy. We're not Google. So in a way, you might be able to leverage a lot more of that.
Yeah, I said a bit about that, in the fact that people can choose exactly what data to share, but they didn't put an emphasis in it.
I
So
would put
we're
maybe a
gonna
sentence, yeah.
we're gonna take care about GDPR and everything. Like anything's gonna be very secure. Like the thing is like since open source and we're gonna try to listen to the feedback of the public as much as possible, we're gonna take care of any possible issue based on priorities given from the consumers.
Excellent. Now, Da Vinci is asking about is it possible to import Facebook and other social media contexts? We don't have time to answer, but basically just for you to kind of say, look, the transition from the current social networks to my social network is going to be very, very easy and so on. So kind of I would probably mention it. Diane is feeling that it was a clear pitch, but a little bit too rush. So it felt like because you were really on the mark of the 4 minutes, Diane kind of maybe recommends over here to cut the number of words that you actually say in those 4 minutes and focus on the most important thing, because when people listen and they have a feeling that you're rushed, they lose a little bit of focus. They kind of like more focus on you being rushed and less on the presentation. So you probably don't want to be there. So the idea is cut as much as possible. Achil is saying that it was not that clear for him. He says that there are many open social network. All of them struggle with keeping the lights on. How will you make money in the end of the day? So this is something that probably is a little bit of a concern. So maybe something to consider about addressing this in the presentation. And Karim is saying that they had a problem of understanding what exactly does the app do. Maybe it has to do with what Diane told you, Rashvan, of rushing and a lot of text. A few photos here would really, like even a mock-up, of a lot of doubts for people. I'm pretty sure about this. So maybe it's something to...
Sorry, there was lag. I couldn't hear what you just...
So it seems like, according to Karim, because you read the presentation relatively fast, you would like to see a little bit more clarity on how does it look like what can you expect on the mock-ups and stuff like that. So that's something that I would definitely incorporate.
We're not yet at that point in the implementation to actually get that. I mean, we could get some mock-ups, but yeah.
Yeah, even a simple mock-up of like the idea is less words and more. Okay, actually understand. I see. You know, a few Photoshop photos of dating sites and so on. It's really easy to do it. Da Vinci is saying about the UI. How can my granny customize the roulette of feed? So again, this is another mock-up question of basically show how would it look like. Basically, people are kind of wondering what did the product look like. So you kind of, if you go to investors or even to Kickstarter, you want to share what do they kind of anticipate. Oma is asking how much did you raise from crowdfunding so far, but I have a feeling you haven't launched a crowdfunding.
No, we haven't done crowdfunding. We're going to do as soon as we get it in a finished state. Like we want to do crowdfunding at the moment where it actually is fully launchable. So at the moment of the crowdfunding, people will be able to actually sign up, log in. So they already have the product. So they won't have to wonder like, will I ever get it for the money?
Okay. Achil is saying that the pain actually exists, but you're going to have to figure out how would you acquire users, and more importantly, how the users should know each other so they can actively engage in your platform. Otherwise, it won't work out. And again, it's a game on numbers, so Achil is right. So yeah, kind of like some things to, and Da Vinci is also having a few recommendations on the UI UX. So I totally recommend to copy paste all the comments over here. And you have more and more coming, just as we're about to close the event today. Great. Gavin is saying that he has a little bit of a concern that the average Facebook or LinkedIn user is happy with the service. Therefore, if you don't try to replace them, try to kind of say what is really special about you, and kind of like not trying to say that you would actually be a replacement in a way. It could be something to think about. Gavin also says that the presentation was a little bit too fast, and he totally recommends less text on the slides. And this is something that is tested actually. When you have too much text, people are losing you. So maybe a quick basically you were reading. The problem I think is that you were reading everything, and the idea is kind of training yourself to kind of put what works faster, and then you can kind of say our product will work much faster. So not everything that you say has to be on the presentation, because if it does, you have a book there, and it's
I know.
so it's something to improve. And I think you have a little, so more people are saying that the team, William is saying also that you try to put too much information into 4 minutes and try not to read from the slides, more graphics and less text in the slides. I totally agree.
Okay.
So this is for the next presentation. And yeah, you have a lot more comments here. So just copy paste it. And I think we're kind of, we gave you enough to work on, basically.
Yeah.
Right?
Thank you very much, everyone, for the feedback. I took notes.
Excellent. So Rajan, come back in a few months. Let us know how it goes.
Thank you.
Greatness. Okay, so Da Vinci, we actually don't have time. I actually just didn't see your Q&A until really late. So I recommend to come. We have another event, by the way, in 2 hours. So you're welcome to arrive to this one or next week. I'm going to put you first in line. And that's basically it for today. So thanks everyone for joining. You gave a lot of really valuable people to everyone that was pitching today. So that's very, I have a feeling that all the 3 of the pitchers can change 50% of the presentation, make it better by far. So thanks a lot for that. And cheers everyone. Have a good one. Bye-bye. See you next time, next Wednesday. Bye.